Hey guys, FunnyGuyTimmy here. It's been a while since I posted a video, and I actually had like 5 or 6 videos recorded, and I thought I was going to have a whole bunch that I could just, post one a day this week, but I made a huge error. I made a huge mistake. I did all of these videos one after another, and I never did a check. I didn't do a setup or a test video. What I normally do is I will do a video where I'll record just a couple seconds, to make sure that the camera is set up, that the lighting looks good, and that I have sound. I'll do kind of a test, and I'll listen to the video, watch the video, make sure everything's good. It's not overexposed. It's not, peaking. The audio's not peaking or anything like that. And I didn't do that. And apparently I forgot to set up the audio right. What I needed to do, I had it in Action, which is what I actually record with. And I had it in as, for the microphone, my mixer. As my audio, for my audio coming through the computer, I also had it as the mixer. But apparently, what I should have had it set up in Action was microphone default, and whatever the computer has as default, and then whatever the computer has as audio default, which was the mixer. It was weird. I've never had to do that before with any of my other interfaces, and I just didn't check. And so I have a whole bunch of videos that I got to redo. So what I'm doing right here, this one is actually one that's been requested many times. And I kind of didn't want to do it because you guys know my history with Neewer. And so that's what we have here. This is the Neewer NW-800, which is a microphone that's been getting a lot of press, I guess, a lot of exposure. There's been a lot of people talking about this microphone, or at least the microphones in this line, the NW something 100. And there's been a lot of people that have either praised it or bashed it. And so people asked me to do it. And so that's what I'm doing for you guys. I have to say, first of all, the sound of this microphone brings me back. I have to tell you that. One of my first microphones sounded almost exactly like this. And I'll let you guys know whether or not that's a good thing or not in a second. Now, the kit that I got this microphone in actually came with the shock mount, the microphone, a XLR to 1/8 inch, I think it is. One of the I don't got one here, but one of the small headphone jack sized, which is weird because I don't think that it should come with that by default, because this requires phantom power, and anything that's the headphones like these, anything that's like one of these headphone jacks, it doesn't do phantom power. So that's weird. But it also came with a scissor mic stand, or a gooseneck. One of those ones was like an arm, where it's like a jointed arm with springs. It came with one of those. It also came with, I think, pop filter. I don't think I said that one. And then a foam wind cover. So it came with a lot in the kit for about $30. And basically the windscreen, the pop filter, the little shock mount, and the arm, I figured was worth the $30-ish or the $20-ish. So even if the microphone wasn't all that good, I can use those other things for other things. Now, I'm not using a pop filter to do this microphone, because otherwise my face would just be covered. You wouldn't be able to see me. Not like you guys want to see me. I'm not something to look at. So what I'm doing is I'm actually trying really hard to just speak adjacent to the microphone, just talk off to one side, so I don't get any plosives. But let's review the microphone. So just gonna go over some specs real quick. Now, again, as I've said, I'm not a audio engineer, so I don't know exactly what everything does, but the things that I've noticed and the things that I actually pay attention to is pickup pattern, its frequency response curve, and it's it's 20. This is a 20 hertz to 16 kilohertz. Me personally, the microphones that sound the best to me have always been 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, which is basically, that's right where that's what the human ear can pick up naturally. And so if you have anything that, picks up even more than, 20 kilohertz, it's kind of useless because the human voice or the human ear can't even pick that up. So even if you were able to record it, no one's going to be able to hear it anyway unless they really juice up the volume. And the same goes with the 20 hertz. Anything lower than that, you're basically not going to pick that up at all. So that's also useless. But if you go less than 20 kilohertz, which this goes 16, you're basically compressing it a little bit. You're cutting off a little bit of what the human ear would pick up. And so it's going to sound a little odd or a little distorted. Personally, I don't think this sounds that bad. For what would I pay for this microphone? Probably $10, just for the microphone itself. It's very lightweight. Most of it's aluminum or kind of a really cheap metal. It's got the gold is just spray painted on. So I don't know how long this microphone would last. And it does sound really sharp and sibilant, which is not great for my voice. Now, if you're someone who has like a lower pitched voice, a lot of bass, and your voice doesn't really get up to its 16 kilohertz ceiling, it's not going to be a problem for you. But due to the fact that I have a higher pitched voice, if I was to go louder or higher than the 16 kilohertz, it's going to sound odd. So for me, I'm not a real big fan of below 20 kilohertz. Just the microphones that I've worked with in the past that have gone below that, it just sounds odd to me. And anything that's right at 20 kilohertz just sounds natural, sounds really good. Now, that's not to say that just because it has 20 hertz and 20 kilohertz, that's all that you need to worry about and that it's a good mic. That's not to say that at all. That's just saying that that's the range in which it can pick up. It's like a net. It's like the size of the net, or the size of the canvas in which it can paint a picture. Now, also its curve, which it's, I don't know if you can see this on here. You can kind of see that a little bit. That kind of frequency curve right there. That shape, that tells you how it's going to color the voice. Now, surprisingly, that's actually a pretty smooth pattern. I've worked with some mics that has like a lot of this and just really dips down hard, and I can hear it just sounds unnatural, like it just cuts out parts of your voice. And this one's, it's not that bad. Really, I just think it just does something to the high ends and it just sounds too sibilant. Again, I'm not an engineer. But what you're listening to is the microphone itself. I have compression off. I don't have any EQing on it. I'm not doing any noise cleanup. Basically, I'm just going to normalize it, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do to this. So you're going to listen to it exactly the way that I'm hearing it. A couple things that I do like about the microphone. As you can hear, there's quite a good bit of drop-off if you go off on either side of the microphone. It is incredibly sensitive. That's good. That's pretty much it. There's not a lot that I like about this microphone. Now, that's not to say that Neewer doesn't have microphones that are affordable and are really, really good. There is one microphone, and I don't know the number or the model or whatever, that it's their $100 microphone. I think it's relatively new, that I'm tempted to try. The fact that it's $100 would tell me that they actually put a little bit more effort and care. And looking at their line of microphones, I have seen an increase in quality. Now, of course, they still, make a lot of microphones that are designed for affordability, like this one. It's designed to be cheap, relatively inexpensive, something that you can get your hands on and just get into. This would be actually a really good microphone for doing podcasts, doing live streaming, game playing, stuff like that. I would not recommend this for doing voiceover. Again, it's really sharp, it's really sibilant, and because it cuts off 16 kilohertz instead of 20, if you get up to that ceiling, it's going to be hard to fix or edit or smoothen anything out in editing, either for you or the client that you're sending anything to. Again, it just sounds really sibilant. So for me, it just doesn't sound all that good. Now, you're probably thinking that I'm just bashing this microphone. I'm actually not. For the package that it came in, and a link to that will be in the description, I think this is a good buy. I don't think it's good for voiceover. I don't think you should spend money on this for voiceover. Don't get into the voiceover industry with this and think that, you're going to make it somewhere. You're not. This is not going to be the kind of thing that you can make a career on. This would be the kind of thing if you wanted to practice doing voiceover, or if you wanted to do, you could probably get away with doing voice messaging, because when you do voice messaging, it's often compressed a lot so that it will play on the phone, because it's just really compressed in a very small sample rate, and it's distorted like a lot. So any problems that you might have with this microphone wouldn't show up, or wouldn't really be all that noticeable in voice messaging, unless of course it's voice messaging for like an online kind of thing, like Google Voice, where it's not really through the phone, you're calling a website, something like that. But other than that, if you're thinking of buying this and then getting into the voiceover industry, do not. Save up your money, buy a relatively inexpensive but good quality microphone, and then you can get client work that way. Don't start off with one of these thinking that you're just going to... This is not a forever mic, okay? I would never use this as a forever mic. If all my other mics stopped working and this was the only microphone that I had, I would sell what I could to get a better microphone. Now, I'm going to increase the volume in just a second so that you can hear the noise floor, or the noise that this microphone generates. It's actually pretty noisy. You can already hear some of it. I'm not even going to turn it up yet, but if I go quiet, you can probably hear some of it. That kind of hissing, that slight grinding. That's what that is. So now I'm going to turn it up a little bit, all right? I've just barely turned that up. All right, now I turned it right back to where it was. Okay. So, now what I'm probably going to be doing later is I'm actually going to compare this side by side to my Audio-Technica 2020. The reason I want to do that is because the Audio-Technica 2020 is a pretty much industry standard as far as $100 voiceover mic. That is actually a really good industry starting or career starting microphone. And I'm going to compare. My first impression is I wouldn't buy this. It's incredibly sensitive. I did see some reviews on Amazon where someone was complaining because it just picks up too much noise in the background. This microphone, it could pick up like my cat and my computer fan. It just picked up way too much noise. That's actually a good thing. So anyway, my overall impression, real quick, is that I would give this a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. If you're wanting to do YouTube videos, if you're wanting to do Let's Plays, if you're wanting to do a podcast, anything like that, this is actually a pretty good mic. I would say this is worth a buy, worth the $20 that it is. I think this mic normally sells at around somewhere between $20 and $30. And I would say this isn't a bad microphone. So, anyway, this is me just trying to get a video to you guys as quick as possible. I'm going to try to edit it tonight, get it to you. It's like really late at night, and I have to get this done like really soon. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. I don't have to tell you what to do. You probably already thumbs it down before you even hit play. So anyway, link to the microphone package that I got will be in the description. If you'd like to see me review any other microphones, leave them in the comments. And until next time, peace.